believe I meant it. Good morning. It's Friday. It's time for the Friday Grief Chat. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb.
And that's Zorro.
Hi, Zorro.
And we're ready to talk grief.
Wow. Well, you and I have been busy this week.
We have.
And how interesting. Did I tell you last minute there was a death in our family, and the worst, I mean, no death is like great, but this is the third child. I call her my aunt or my cousin. That's the short version. She's 90. This is the third child that has died. And I just have to go to the funeral, and everybody was really good about church. And, I just want to be there to show my face, to let her know she is supported. I mean,
right.
And I'm just sort of jumping right in because I've been thinking a lot about loneliness, and there's many ways to lose children. And when you're older and all your children are gone because they're dead, that's not the way things are supposed to go. No. The parents are supposed to go first. That's the way it's supposed to be. Right. And it's, how lonely is that you have
no children left.
No children left. I mean, and
right.
And she's 90.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say to that.
We've had a couple of people that Stacy has prepared for burial, and they made their arrangements decades before. And when they get to the time of the funeral, literally there's nobody left to come.
Right.
But you still have to do the whole funeral because it's what the request and the payment was for. And so, beautiful casket, all the makeup, cards printed, book out, music, minister.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I think in moments like that, there needs to be a call out that says, there's a little old lady who has lost everyone and it's her turn to go. We need some people to show up like they do for vets.
Yeah, they do. Exactly. And,
I think about the loneliness she experienced in those people experienced in their final years.
Right.
And it's wrong.
And it's like now, the one thing I can say about my aunt/cousin, that she has this amazing gift of talking to people and them just falling in love with her. So she has the grandkids. That's somebody. She has that. She has different friends she has made at different stages in her life. And some are, 30 years younger than she is. And her husband died maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I think about how that compounds things, right? And loneliness isn't just being alone, right? It's about that feeling, maybe nobody cares, maybe it's in the middle of the night when you wake up and you go, I wish I was dead. That's not just depression. That's like really? Why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody wants to talk about what I just said, but you and I always talk about these things.
Right.
So, you know what is loneliness when you go through a death, or not even a death? I mean, like when a person dies, what happens if well, let me ask you this, Jill. One of the times besides when someone died, when did you ever feel lonely? It's not a challenge, it's an actual question.
No. You know what? Every moment that you are in adolescence, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Now I can. Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Every
great.
moment you're in adolescence,
Mhm.
you come home from school and it's been a bad day and you just feel, even though you've got a group of friends, you don't, it's been that day and you feel like you're doing this all by yourself. When you need help and you don't have anyone you can really ask for help, or you've convinced yourself, like so many of us do, because it's a really bad, I think, truly American trait. Although I see it in Australians and a few other groups, I got to be able to manage this myself. Okay, so I've got 3 illnesses and the weather's bad and my dog is sick and my spouse isn't listening to me, but I got to power through this. That's a lonely feeling. We don't identify it as lonely. We identify it as sad, depressed, not trying hard enough. We label it with action verbs. But you know what it is that we are just trying so darn hard to do it all on our own, right? It's the single mom, the single dad, the widow, the widower, that they need to replace the roof, or they need to, when they go out for a meal. First time someone's divorced and they go out for a meal by themselves when the kids are off with the other spouse. Now,
They
some
even do
people,
that.
right, some people would reframe that as, I get to go out to a grown-up meal, not have finger foods, right? If they've got the budget for it, because divorce causes budgetary issues. I spend 2 nights a week, one intense night a week at Project Food with our homeless community. And talk about lonely. Now they do create sort of families of choice,
They
but
do.
there's so much else going on with personalities and safety and survival skills and past history, that those families of choice blow up and then regroup around other people. But if you ask a homeless person what they miss someone calling them by their name. And if they tell you your name and you don't remember it and you're one of the helpers, they may never forgive you, because that's the one gift they've given you that they can give you, is the gift of knowing their name. Because otherwise they're the anonymous bum on the street.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
And many of them collect pets because they know their pets' names and they get that feedback from the eyeballs, right? The
From
eyeballs that
yeah, look
pets
at
give
that
us,
guy.
even though he can't see them, right?
Mhm.
There's loneliness there that's so intense because they've had losses, obviously. They don't have connection, or they wouldn't be on the street. They don't have finances, or they wouldn't be on the street.
Mhm.
They don't have food, or they wouldn't be eating in a congregate living facility and looking for a congregate eating group and
Mhm.
looking for where are the free showers and where are the
Mhm.
free laundromats and things.
Mhm.
It's, if you ever want to see loneliness in action, go serve in the homeless community and ask someone their name.
You
Or
know,
hospitals. You saw that in hospitals.
well, yep. I think, well, first I want to answer my own question that I asked you. When did you feel the most lonely, and or not the most lonely? When have you felt, other than when someone dies? I For me, it's when I was growing up, and yes, my teen years, even before that, I didn't have anybody to share my reality with.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in a family that never talked about what went on, whatever it was. Maybe they didn't talk. I mean, it was the 60s. So we don't talk, not our family, but other families. We had one in our family. Someone married a Black person,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't talk about it. And I'm like, why aren't we talking about this?
What
You
about the
know,
gay or lesbian?
oh, we don't talk about Uncle so and so. We
Right.
don't talk about, and when, for a kid, when you don't talk about what is going on, that is a disservice to the child. And then the child learns, don't talk about stuff that's unpleasant. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. But if you have a kid like me who wants to know, that it was a lonely time.
Right.
And, and then you're in adolescence, you don't dare talk about what the hell is this hair happening? What's this?
Or you decide that your sense of style is different than what the
Oh,
other kids' styles are.
yeah,
Thank goodness we have more freedom of that, but we've got people clamping down on it again now.
yeah,
And
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 that's
it's hard
hard.
to see.
You know, for me, lonely is there is no one to turn to when you really. Now, part of that is part of loneliness is you can't see, um, emotionally see past what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that is really, really hard. I mean, is that accurate? You're in that your own reality, so it's hard to reach out and say help.
Right?
You just, and if
And
you're
we
a teen, you're
uh-huh.
doubting all your emotions anyway. Or
Right.
you're a senior, you're and you don't have money, for you have to choose between food and medicine.
Let me tell you, I spent yesterday at our local senior center, which is beautiful and huge and has thousands of members. And it's only $50 a year, which is way too much for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And other people sponsor folks. So if you can't afford it, they will get you a sponsor. And they have meals. But we do a support group there, and we're going to bust out some more too, because, that's what social workers do. And what we hear is, I can't get here. I don't have transportation.
That's right.
The bus company says they won't send the van because there's a bus stop within 4 blocks, and it's someone who's 82 and using a walker and has ankles bigger than a certain person in DC, and that 4 blocks might as well be 3,000 miles.
That's
And
right.
so but they are desperate to get there to that support group. So part of what you do is some good old fashioned let's figure this out. We have a thing called the Blue Zones Initiative here in California. I think it's going nationwide. I'm certain it is. And it's where cities decide how they're going to dive deep into solving and making their communities. Ian, I love you. Love those cankles. Where cities decide to be more friendly, supportive, environmentally, on top of things. And they've done these deep dive studies, and they found that one of the biggest issues is loneliness. And so they're taking it on neighborhood by neighborhood, identified small sub community by sub community. And in our city, a couple of little neighborhoods have decided to have happy hour once a week on their street. And it doesn't have to include alcohol, but it does have to include conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
Because our
great
seniors
idea.
are isolated, and those people, even if they ask for help, if they can't find it, we're reinforcing loneliness. Sorry, I'm on
You
a
know,
soapbox today, but that's because
no, that's okay.
I'm
think
infused in it.
oh, I think about where I live and a couple things. One, we're north of town. So if you want to walk to our little Mayberry town, that is a half a mile, which, like us, people have been living here for 30 to 50 years, right?
Right.
That is really hard to do.
It is.
And there is no bus service here. None. And there is none in our town to take you 9 miles to even catch a bus. There's nothing.
It's
And
enforced isolation for a lot of people.
we are known as rural, and all those rural funds. And I could get on a soapbox really fast, and I'm not going to. But you can see when we
She's
talk
saving
about
you, folks.
what
You're saving our audience.
I am, yeah. And so, what can be done to, our next conference is the epidemic of loneliness. So the question is, what can you do as an individual, and what can you do as an initiative that needs more? And I just want to talk about where Ian lives in Italy,
I was hoping you would.
because he has this little town. And really, if you want to go to any city, it's not like there's a bus that comes there. He has a little village. When I say little, you can walk the perimeter. It might take a couple hours. Maybe he'll correct me and it might be a little longer.
I was just thinking what Ian just said. I've always found in my very small village, folks are always happy to help out the elderly. And that is what happens in small towns.
And what he has is, I just love it, because, when he and I are on the phone, he'll have his, they don't have screens like we do. And I noticed that in lots of places in Europe, but he opens up in the dining room these big, like, arch, like, windows, and people just walking by. The library is right across the street. And when I say street, I don't mean like your street. His street's like 20 feet.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they have small cars to fit the streets. And so, anyway, and so walks by and they say, "Oh, I'm bringing over some green beans," of one of his neighbors, that she had extra green beans. They hand them through the windows. You don't have to go to the door. And then he talks about, another person in his village. There was this, older woman, and, just waving hi. And it's a community. It's not just a place to live. And my brother and I were talking, when we grew up in Skokie, our next door neighbor, that's where I learned how to cook. Not from my parents, but from Mrs. Loam, And she made zucchini fritters, and she taught me how to make applesauce. And she showed me how to grow carrots and, how to chop up apples. It was just fabulous. It was great skills. And
that's that connectivity that helps us reduce loneliness. But
yes,
some people are not built to reach out for that. And if they're not, if they're more Zorro and everyone else is an opportunity to bite, they may not connect to other people. They may just connect to their Jill, right? Or if they are one of those people that just has to do it on their own.
Yeah.
We can't reduce loneliness unless we ask.
Right. Right. Oh, Ian likes that we and Ian, feel free. Ian wrote, thank you. Please, Ian, write in the like where they could look up your villa,
Because you can
your
stay
B&B.
with Ian and he knows how to cook like gangbusters. You will
Oh,
not be lonely staying with Ian
I
in
mean the
Italy.
rooms are nice, but that biscotti,
And he does
oh
gluten
my
free.
God. Oh no, Ian is like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed. They iron the sheets. That still gets me.
My grandma
So,
used to do that.
wow. Well, Ian still does.
Wow.
So, Ian is the best. Yay. Let's
Right?
have an Ian fest. You
I
are
think
not
Stevie's going to have a
lonely.
honeymoon there eventually.
Mm.
Oh.
Ian, I just want to say, when you're around Ian, you don't have a chance to feel lonely. That is for sure. Thank you, Ian. And, you know, you just need some like minded people. You need people that can say, how are you? And not be looking at their phone.
Right.
You need someone to say, uh, hey, would you like some extra green beans? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, food is my love language.
It
And
absolutely is. Deb makes me Rice Krispie treats before she goes to conference.
every conference. Well, wasn't it one year I reached out to Steve because
Yes.
someone had died, and I said,
My mom had died.
your mom, and I couldn't get Rice Krispie treats to you. Can you get them to her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know,
And when you're grieving, the loneliness is enhanced. It
well,
really is. When you have a loss, especially if it's your person or your pet
right.
or your
Oh,
place or your job, the thing, the person that you identify with or that helps make you you.
let's talk about pets for just a second. You know, there are people, and I understand their pets are animals and they're not family. And you shouldn't confuse the two, right?
Right.
And, you know, I really appreciate it. And I know I did this at work when I found out someone's pet died. If I didn't give them a card, I at least went up to them and say, how are you doing since your cat died? What
Mm-hmm.
was the name of your cat? That's a great name. Do you have any pictures?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just being in their reality. That's what I mean. When you're in a grief reality,
You
you
need
need
people to join you.
join, affirm that you're going through grief.
Right.
You know, all right, I'll be quiet except for Ian said it is all about food in Italy. It's the best connection. Yeah.
And Steve, you did take care of everybody along with gluten-free bagels. You are absolutely right. Yeah. But it
Yeah.
is when you are grieving, you need that connection, and it can be food, and it
Yeah.
can be someone calling or sending a text if you don't take phone calls.
Right.
Um, it can be stopping by. It can be reminding someone you don't have to do this alone, that's actually not sometimes the very best. You can choose that if you want. Not going to tell you how to grieve, but you might want to connect, right?
I want to say one more thing about loneliness, or maybe not one more thing. You can have a family, a bio family, and not share any realities, and it will feel lonely.
It will.
Estrangement is
A huge part of it.
a huge lonely feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very odd thing. It's like caring. I have a couple people in my life are caring for a parent that has the beginning of dementia,
Mm-hmm.
or they're into it and they're sliding down really fast.
Mhm.
And you go with the mom that was there or the dad that was there, you go there, and this is not the reality you grew up with.
Mhm.
And it is so confusing and lonely because you think you should feel something else, but actually, you're spot on how people feel. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Mhm. It
Yeah.
does. We have several people around us who've had recent losses, and they are trying so hard. You know, I'm planning the funeral, I'm cleaning out the house, I'm doing all the things, and there's no space for them to just sort out and to stop and to let in the helpers. Or they let in a few helpers, but with specific tasks because they don't want to ask too much. They
Right.
don't want to be needy. They The thing is, when someone's had a loss, other people want to help. And if you're trying to do it all, then it's intimidating to say not what can I do, but let me come in and do XYZ for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's somebody who's a super doer, then it's really hard to say I'm coming by and I'm bringing food in a Deb and Ian and Stephen way, or I am going to go drop off flowers, or whatever it is that you're going to do for them. It's the super doers. We actually, and it's all of us, we make it hard for other people to step in.
You know, what I love about many of my close friends is they're not afraid to say, stop,
Mm-hmm.
take a breath. You tell that to us, always throw it back to me, right? And then I have to listen. And then we are doing this. Because
Right.
usually both, I mean, Daryl's a super doer also. So people don't know how to come in because they think I'm taking care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, and I have those friends. I had a party. No, we're not listening to you. We are cleaning up. And I'm like, okay, it takes me a while to say okay.
Yeah.
And at the same time, how do you find that balance for they need to be by themselves right now and to really listen, not come in necessarily with my agenda to help, but to listen to when you say, I need to go take a walk, you need some time. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to really think hard, if you are identifying lonely is what you are experiencing, to also identify how you can allow someone or something in, no matter how. So it doesn't have to be big. It could be just making a phone call. It could be making a post that says, if anyone feels like posting a funny meme. How many times have you seen that? So and so's in the hospital. If you have funny memes, post them.
Please post them.
It makes such a difference.
Hey, this is what I do love about Facebook or a
Mm-hmm.
social media platform. Like people can look. I want to go back though for just a second. You know, Sometimes we want to fix, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they just need a friend. I have had people say, I need a friend, not fix, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I appreciate when people can say that. And and I'm reading Steve's, you're right. As a caregiver, I'm like, I think I can do it all. And that is a really lonely place because I don't know how to even ask. Or if you're feeling that low, I don't want to bother anybody.
Right.
That's I can't tell you how many times either I've said that or Daryl. Nowadays, I go, oh, I'm going to bother everybody. And it's really sad when, something I've also had to learn to do, and I think this is also part of loneliness. What are you willing to give up control on? Because the way someone might help you might not be exactly what you would do, excuse the air quotes, and yet they're doing.
Right.
They're there. They showed up.
Right.
So part of the loneliness, not the grief, but the loneliness is you created a barrier already. And
Mm-hmm.
they want to, they're there, and you're still holding on to whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one. And we get this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the coin is that it's when they want to help and they offer and they say, well, we didn't want to bother you. And you want to be bothered.
Right.
Please bother me. Tell me.
Get me. Right.
Yeah. And it's really hard.
It is.
Yeah.
And we can make ourselves available to that. And we can make ourselves open to that. So when you are identifying whether it's sadness or irritability or whatever it is that is actually underneath it, I feel alone in this. Remember 2020 when we were all at home, which is how we started this program, folks. We started the program because we were isolated and we wanted to de-isolate in a safe way. And so we tried to bring people in, and we did, to talk about things, to share the loved ones they were losing, to share the experiences they were having around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and to reduce that sense of isolation, which sits underneath loneliness. And so if we can find ways to do that and find ways to help those who are grieving away from that while still giving them room for grief, then we've all done our job in whatever small way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're busy, and they can be.
Right. Sometimes I have a friend that it's real interesting when she's like listening to people and she's seeing that is so totally messed up. When I'm around, she'll like, as if she's got like a ventriloquist puppet or something, she'll go, that is totally messed up. I shouldn't say it like that. It helps me to know that I'm sharing a reality with someone and they see things the way I am seeing them, or they affirm my reality. All those things are part of loneliness when your reality isn't affirmed, when you're not seeing any way to break out, either of your own making, some of it is, and there's no one strong enough around you to say, Jill, put that down. I'm taking care of it, And sometimes we need that, and that helps with loneliness. Forget a cure. There's no cure, but there is, like grief, moments of balance and relief.
Absolutely. And we are over time, so we better let people go.
Yeah.
So I put up a challenge for everybody from Deb and Jill, although Deb doesn't know she's included in this. Is there some way you can make a small bit of difference? Sorry, Zora was choking. Is there some way you can make a small bit of difference in someone's life today? Can you ask a homeless person their name? If it's safe. Not if it's not, of course. Drop off food somewhere, compliment someone randomly, something to make a connection for someone, even just smile at someone. We can change things. We don't fix things, and we don't tell people not to grieve.
That's right. All right, everyone. Until next week, I'm going to see if a couple of our international death, grief, and bereavement people would last minute come on and say, howdy, let me talk about what I do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And we will see you in August.
Oh my God. Is next week August already?
Next week is August.
Jiminy crickets. All right, everyone.
Jiminy crickets. We're going to be Jiminy Cricket. Shabbat shalom to those who are of the faith. And Ian, you guys are beautiful too. And I wish I could taste your biscotti. See you everybody later.